It's like ever since I started coaching. It's my whole life. I don't know why I said ever since I started coaching. Call it my coaching voice, but my coaching voice is never turned off.
You're just constantly in coach mode.
I don't know. I'm just loud, dude. I don't know why I'm so loud. My voice just naturally carries.
It's because you're deaf, Erica. You can't hear.
I'm not deaf.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are.
No.
We could argue this all night. You are.
Because I've been loud since I was a kid.
You've probably been deaf your whole life.
No, I have not. Because then I'd
have you ever gotten your ears checked?
Way. Yes. I've gotten my ears checked in my adulthood even.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
this is like, I think the third time we've recorded now.
The third take, yeah.
The third take. First take.
Because someone didn't want to listen to his wife last week.
The first take, the computer crashed and I lost my save. Couldn't recover it. Second take,
you didn't want to listen to your wife.
Yep, we recorded the whole episode.
You didn't want to listen to your wife.
Oh, shut the hell up. We recorded the whole episode through the laptop microphone, so it just sounded like shit. So.
And last time when we were trying to record for take 2, I said, hey, why don't we check it and make sure everything's recording right?
Yeah, you did, and I was like, nah.
Nah, you're like, it looks good. Surprise!
Yep. Recording through the laptop microphone the whole time.
Are we sure it's not doing that anymore?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
So, we'll see.
So anyways, as for the past 2 takes of this, we've been like trying to do the Merlin update and the garden update. So we can't forget those just because we've talked about them, but we haven't actually recorded them properly.
Yeah. So I guess we can start with the Merlin update. So Merlin is the rooster that we had a few weeks ago who got beat up by our bigger black copper marin rooster. And we've kept him separated and have been trying to figure out how to reintegrate him back into the flock because he got exiled from the flock and beat up pretty bad. And basically what we did is we started by keeping him in a separate portable pen, and then we let him free range around the outside of the main run where the big rooster couldn't get him.
And some other chickens could still go and hang out with him.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
I know he will.
We just have to record around it. You're just...
Yeah, I know.
What it is.
It's just, they lie here. They lie here in silence all day long. Don't move. They don't get out of bed. They don't do anything. And as soon as we start doing this, they're just the neediest things ever.
It's because we're talking and they want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah. Sorry. I guess I'm just... I'm very ornery today.
I know.
But
I can tell.
So anyway, back to Merlin. So the big black copper marin was he was unable to get Merlin while he was free ranging right on the outside. And today we left it open and Merlin was inside the run with the big one and the big one wasn't trying to kill him.
Which is good.
I'm not confident enough to keep Merlin inside the coop at night with him yet. But I am kind of glad they can at least be in the same run.
Yeah.
And not kill each other. So, because I guess basically the idea of what I was trying to do is when you separate a chicken from the rest of the flock for, an extended period of time, usually about 2-3 weeks, the chickens will actually forget who that bird is. And when you try to reintroduce them back into the flock, they'll kind of beat on them and kind of pick on them as if they were a brand new bird. They literally forget who they are. So in the case of this rooster here, I mean, I think it's kind of a stretch, but I was kind of trying to take advantage of that idea in that I can keep Merlin separate and away from him for long enough until this big one forgets that he wants to kill Merlin.
Yeah, because last year when we wanted to get babies and the Silky was Brody, that's the method we took.
Yeah.
We had placed the Silky and the 4 babies, one of which was this big black copper marin.
Yes.
And we placed them in that travel pen right next to the coop because we didn't want them to forget about the Silky entirely, and that way that they could see each other and stuff. And it actually worked.
Yeah, Because then when we reintegrated them back into the main run, there was no
issues. Even with the 4 little ones, the young ones, like the Australorps and then the rooster had no problem integrating.
Yep.
So we were taking that theory, but the big difference
is we're dealing with 2 roosters here. So even if that big rooster forgets who Merlin is and why he was mad at him a few weeks ago, he could then see Merlin as a new rooster and then kind of have the same thought process, like, fuck that guy and want to kill him. But that doesn't seem to be happening as of today. He's chilled out a little bit, and Merlin can at least go into the pen now, and the big one's not trying to kill him. So I think that's an improvement.
I'm still a firm believer that Merlin probably started it, because I don't get why the one rooster's so cool. We were kind of talking about how the one rooster is like a two-faced girl, because he plays both sides. Like, he's friends with the big rooster, but he's also friends with Merlin, the little rooster.
Yep.
He's a little rooster himself. They're both bantam breeds.
Yes, we have 2 bantam roosters and then a full-size rooster.
Yeah.
And the full-size rooster so far has been very friendly to us and good to the hens. Yeah. The only aggression he's shown is towards Merlin. Mm-hmm. Then we have Merlin, who's a porcelain Old English bantam. He's a little guy.
And he's been our most aggressive consistently.
Yes,
rooster.
he honestly, ever since he got beat up a few weeks ago, he dociled right out. But then we have a golden Seabright. And the golden Seabright used to be best buddies with Merlin, the other bantam. They would do everything together. They never fought. They would spar a little bit, but they never wanted each other dead.
Yeah.
But now this big one has run of the coop, and the golden Seabright has made an alliance with the big one. The big one doesn't want to kill the golden Seabright, and now the golden Seabright is like on his side and on his team, and fights Merlin. He betrayed his buddy.
The golden Seabright's an asshole. He chases me.
Yeah.
and then your question to me is always, well, did you run? Yes, I ran. He's a little demon menace that flies up at me.
Well, yeah, but if you run,
I know I'm supposed to show that I'm dominant.
Yeah, he thinks he's dominant to you because he's making you run.
Because he's terrifying.
Nope, you just gotta dom him. You gotta run. You gotta chase him first.
No thanks. No thanks. I have rooster trauma because our other one bit my face.
Yeah, he was mean.
And it was so funny because another method for dealing with aggressive roosters, especially when they're aggressive to you, is holding them a lot more. And so Jake hands me this big rooster, Radagast we had at the time. He was an Americana rooster, and I'm holding him and I'm petting him. I'm starting to get more confident, and Jake, right as you said, I told you so. See, I told you so. Radagast turned around, grabbed my lip, and I had a nice little cut there for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And this is after our poor house sitter.
Yep, he beat up our house sitter.
He beat up our house sitter. Yep. And then he started being mean to the hens, and that's where we draw the line with mean roosters.
Yeah. Because now he's not even serving
doing his job. He was just being aggressive all around. So yeah, unfortunately, we just had the luck of the draw with roosters, where we have ended up with 4 in total.
Yeah,
and now we have 3.
I mean, 3 of those 4 though were cut from straight run batches.
Yeah.
So we knew there was a chance they were going to be roosters. Only one of them, the Americana one, he was able to pull it, but ended up being a rooster.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that happens.
The Marin was literally one of 2 Marins left, and I was like, I'll take one. And it was a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, well, we're dealing with them now.
And honestly, as far as having multiple roosters and only 7 hens, or 8 hens, whatever we said the other day, we have been really fortunate, because we know one of the solutions to try and fix this aggression is to make sure you have more hens, which is in the plans. But we have actually been extremely lucky because our roosters have been, overall, getting along. Yeah.
Yeah, for the situation we have, I think
our first
it could
issue.
be a lot worse.
Yeah.
And we've had multiple roosters like this consistently for 3 years now. And this is the first year I've ever had 2 roosters like have a rooster try to kill another. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. I've definitely mentioned this before. Like overall, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out if there is a way we can like behaviorally change roosters rather than getting rid of them or, getting more hens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, because eventually we're not going to have the option of getting more hens.
Yeah.
Like right now we're in a position where okay, we could have a few more. Even before upgrading the coop, we could have a few more, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's not like every year we can be like, oh, let's just get 12 more.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, that's the Merlin update.
So were you disappointed waking up to snow this morning?
Yeah, I was.
I was really disappointed too because you had done all that nice hard work of clearing out and everything was ready to go to plant what you have started inside.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go into the details of that. And then, so the plan this weekend was to plant those, transplant them into the yard. And we woke up this morning to sleeting, slushy snow and about an inch. That's already
more
melting.
Than an inch. I'd say it's about 2. It was probably about 2-3 inches, yeah. But it's melting pretty quick. But
it is, yeah.
Yeah, my plan for this weekend is like it's a cold weekend, but tomorrow is supposed to be like wet and rainy, and then it's going to be warmer through like midweek next week. So I have onions started that I wanted to move out there, and then I have potatoes and beets, basically all of like the ground stuff.
Yeah.
So this time of year you can move that stuff out there because they're cold hardy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually where you start is with the cold hardy stuff first this time of year, and then once it gets warmer, like May, mid-May-ish, I'll plant the cucumbers and the squashes and all that other stuff.
Well, and those onions are looking great.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Sprouted and
yeah, they definitely got to get outside soon though, because they're gonna run out of room in that little tray that they're in.
That's what I've noticed is there.
So that tray doesn't have the best drainage either, but that's what I get for being cheap. But that's okay though.
Yeah, but there's a reason you're cheap, and it's because we want to see that this gardening is a little more than just a hobby. Our goal is to cut down on our produce bill.
We're ultimately trying to supplement some of our food. Yes. Like I want to actually make a dent in how much we spend on groceries. And in order to do that, you can't spend a bunch of money on the garden, and you have to produce and preserve pretty well. So that's really what we're trying to do here. It's definitely not going to be 100% this year. It might never be 100%. But I think we can get a pretty like significant amount of our diet like produced here on our property.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of meat.
Yeah.
Unless we wanted to start doing meat birds, and I don't know. You and I we love animals, so it's a little harder to raise something for the specific reason of meat.
Yeah.
Every time I'm asked, people are like, "Are your chickens for food?" And I go, "No, just eggs and friends." Yeah. Eggs and friends.
Unfortunately with the birds though, like if we're trying to with the garden, we're trying to make a dent in our food bill. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, yes, we get eggs from the chickens, but those are expensive eggs because we spend quite a bit of money feeding them and buying supplies to like maintain the coop. And you're not making your money back on like what we have.
We talked about this too in one of our first two attempts at this one.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how a lot of people now are doing the backyard chicken thing because of the egg prices in the grocery store.
Yes.
And I am curious because I bet there is a way to do it where you get enough eggs that you're supplementing your grocery bill and you're not overpaying. But at the amount of chickens we have, plus the ducks, there's no way we are.
Yeah.
But I imagine if you had 6 backyard hens, only hens, that a bag of food like we get is going to last way longer. Plus, if you don't get all flock, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So, like, I bet there are some people who do the right balance of...
Yeah. I think we talked about this last time, too. The ducks definitely hurt our bottom line because the ducks eat a lot and they produce, maybe 1 egg a day.
And they make a bigger mess and stuff. And in the future, I don't think we really see ducks in the future. No. Like we enjoy having them, But I think what'll happen is we'll never have more than 2 again.
Yeah. Overall, like, chickens are just so much easier to
Mm-hmm.
maintain. Like, they're easier to take care of. They are cleaner than ducks.
But the ducks are
Yeah.
more fun. They're more
Yeah.
personable,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It's fun watching them swim.
It's fun watching them swim, and I'm a water baby, so like I love water, and I wish my dogs loved water. I'm gonna get a new feed to make them feel ashamed of their water fear, but no, yeah. So there's definitely perks to the ducks as far as pets go, because I mean, like, look at our dogs. Our dogs obviously have no benefit like whatsoever. They're just pets. They're family.
Yeah.
And so the ducks are more of like the pets. But I bet if we didn't have ducks, I bet we'd be pretty close to what grocery store, and especially because we get enough eggs, we could sell eggs too.
I was thinking about this the other day, just because I like to put myself in the mind of like being self-sufficient, but not only that, but how like settlers or like people during like the colonial times or frontiersmen, any of these people that were like truly self-sufficient, how did they make livestock work when they didn't have like a feed store? And I was thinking about it, just kind of looking at like how much we spend on chicken food, for instance. You're gonna need about, for the chickens that we have right now, you need about 1,000 pounds. It's like 800 to 1,000 pounds a year. So think about that. If you were to have chickens, but you didn't have a grain store, you need to have enough space to produce 1,000 pounds worth of grain a year. Like, you could do just corn, but yeah, I was just kind of thinking about that too. The amount of space you actually need to do self-sufficient agriculture while including like livestock and self-sufficiently providing for them without a grain store, you need a lot of space for that. It's pretty wild.
But I also said too, I was like, but how much of that like stuff that comes out of the store in the bag, like how much of that is actually needed? Where there's chickens that are in the wild and like they get all their nutrients from bugs and grass and
True.
so like how much are we like over?
Yeah.
Obviously, I want my chickens happy, so I like getting the extra treats and stuff. But like, obviously, if you have them contained to a run, they definitely need that food. But like, if you had a big luscious yard full of bugs and green and like so much green that they're not gonna pick apart the whole yard within a year.
Yeah.
That's a little different. I think you can supplement a little easier the chickens. I don't think you can supplement the ducks as easily.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, I've read a little bit about people who free range their chickens, trying to find a way to measure like free ranging versus not free ranging and the impact it has on how much money you're spending on chicken feed. And the YouTube videos, excuse me. The YouTube videos that I've watched is, unfortunately, a lot of people don't really see much of a change in their bottom line when they free range them, because it seems like they only eat about probably like 10% of their diet when they get to free range is not, and that could just be because they're used to like eating the grains, so they don't. But I don't know, like,
I guess I'm just thinking if like in a like apocalyptic scenario, I bet your chickens could survive on they might not be and they might not be laying as frequently.
Yeah, but you also have to consider too, if it gets too hungry, they're not going to come back.
Oh no, that's
like,
true too. I'm not saying
if you don't have enough to provide for them, they're going to peace out and go find food, and then you're not going to have a chicken anymore.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know.
And then we have to eat Rosie.
Yep.
She's hog-sized.
Mm-hmm.
She is a hog.
Yeah, Rosie's emergency food.
She looks like a potato. Acts like a pig. Nah, pigs are smart.
Yeah.
You're not real smart, are you, Rosie?
She's sweet, though, so that's all that matters.
She is sweet. She is, especially to you. She's rude to me. Especially if I'm trying to like sit next to you, she wedges her body between us. So rude. But I guess Bub does the same thing.
Yeah.
Watson's our only good boy and smart boy, but he's full of anxiety from having to be the smart one.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah, but I'm excited. So you still plan to plant things tomorrow?
Probably not, because I don't
Because you think
I
it's
don't
gonna
think
be...
the snow is gonna melt tomorrow. I think
I
it's gonna
don't
be
think
around
so
a couple
either.
more days.
Yeah.
Gonna need some heavy rain to kind of wash it away, which is a pain in the butt. We'll see. We'll see the end of, because it is going to be warmer during the week, so we'll see at the end of this week what that's going to look like. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping right now by next weekend we'll have stuff planted in the ground outside, and we actually have some stuff like started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal anyway. But oh yeah, so I wanted to talk about this too. I have a tray of tomatoes in there that I started.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are the different types of tomatoes from that seed pack that I had got online this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 of the rows are seeds that I saved from last year. And I don't know why this is. I don't know if it was something I did with how I saved them or what, but I noticed at least today all of the seeds that I got from like the variety pack, they sprouted first, and then my save seeds haven't sprouted yet, or they're smaller. So I don't know. I got to give it some more time to see if they kind of catch up. But at some reason, it seems like the seeds that I saved myself and preserved all winter are not germinating as fast as ones that we got from like a seed pack.
Mm.
So I don't know why that is. I'll have to do a little more research on it, but it's an interesting observation I kind of came across.
Now the
But
same breed of tomato?
so I have one is the I forget what they're called. I think they're beefsteak ones I saved from last year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have the cherry tomatoes that I saved from last year. So those two, they're sprouting, but they're small. And then there's 3 rows. I forget what they are. There's a cherry tomato, a Roma, I think is
But
what it's
there's at
called.
least, they're like... Because
Yeah,
if they're a different breed, that could be the simple...
yeah. They're not all
Why
different
is...
breeds though, because there's 2 cherry tomatoes in there that are the
Okay, and
same
one is
breed.
from saved and one is
Yep,
from
one's from
new.
saved. Now those saved ones though, my dad's been saving these for quite a few years. Like these cherry tomato plants get massive. They get huge.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's like
You and
really,
Rosie enjoyed those last year.
yeah, there's really good genetics in them, I guess. So
Uh-huh.
I do like saving them and reusing them every year. So that'll be fun. But tomatoes are just
We
so
gotta
easy to
plant
grow
Rosie
too.
her own cherry tomato plant.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Rosie likes to eat tomatoes. Which,
She knew where it was too.
mhm.
Like she would run down back off leash as soon, and then she was so sad when it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if she should be eating tomatoes though.
Yeah, I think I googled it like the night she figured out how to eat them. Because at first she never used to eat them, and then I taught her. I picked some off, and then I fed her. I gave her like a handful
Yeah,
of them,
Rosie
like a
doesn't
treat.
take much convincing. If she sees you're eating it, she's like, "Oh, I
Oh,
need that."
that's food. I can eat
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And then she started picking them off the plant herself, which that could be bad because she might end up just getting into the garden and eating all the tomatoes now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We usually very seldomly is she just out in the yard unsupervised.
Well, we
you
have
know?
to, because the chickens can get out. She's not
Yeah.
good with the chickens, so
Yeah,
we
she's
have
not
to,
good with the chickens.
but we
So
have to keep her on a lead. And the chickens are dumbasses though, because they'll go right next to her.
yeah,
But luckily, they're fast enough to get away. The problem with the one chicken that didn't get away was that she was protecting eggs.
yeah, that was sad.
Roxy. Roxy was my favorite little hen.
Mm-hmm.
She was so sweet.
I'm trying to think. There's one other thing. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about like the water projects too. I want to put a hand pump well out back, just so we have some other way to get water if we don't have electricity. Just for like at least the dogs, the garden, and the birds anyway.
Yeah.
And if we have that, and I can then supplement the water there, then that's less pressure that's going to get put on, or less wear and tear that's going to get put on our well system for the house too. So this summer, that's a project.
Yeah, but I don't think you explained the well.
So
even though I'm still a little perturbed about it.
Why are you perturbed about it?
Because you opened up an old well that could have had spirits.
Oh, yeah, probably.
What if our house is haunted now?
Yeah. So right out and back, we have what is this old well? There's like a circular metal like cylinder sticking up out of the ground, and there's a big concrete slab on top of it.
It's huge.
So I moved the concrete slab and looked down because I wanted to see if I could see water down there, because I'm brainstorming ideas for this like hand pump well. And when it's actually kind of cool when you look down into the well, that metal cylinder only goes down a couple feet, and then you can see there's like the rock cobblestone well walls of like an old well. And this house was built in 1799, so I'm assuming that's probably like the original well, because I don't think they had like crazy plumbing back then. I think they still were on wells. So, and because the reason it's also kind of like buried like that is I'm assuming they actually hauled in a bunch of dirt here to put in the septic tank in this back room area. And I bet the land back there was actually lower than it is now. And that's why when you look down, that's where the well top was, but now it's underground and it's got this metal cylinder on top. But anyway, I thought the well was pretty cool. That metal cylinder is kind of the way that it's kind of situated at the top. It has like a lip to where I can make like a perfect like circular cover for it. Because once we get the well tap in there and then we have the hand pump on it, it still has to be sealed up at the top. I don't want any like chance of something or someone opening that and falling in there.
Yeah.
So.
What kind of a drop are you looking at?
From the top to the water, it's probably like 6 feet. But then I took the hose and I ran the hose down into the water to see how deep it was. And it goes down I got it down at least another 12 feet. So.
Were you a little nervous opening the well?
A little bit, because I've never opened it before, so I didn't know what was in there. I was afraid there's going to be like a body in there or something. And
or a skeleton?
Yeah, I was a little sketched out.
From like 1799?
Yep. But yeah. Where it's located too, I imagine, because this house that we're on a well system and we have the well that we're on is in the front yard. I imagine it's the same like water vein that these are both attached to. So yeah. So that'll be a project for this summer. I don't know when, but I've got to get the supplies for it, but it shouldn't be that difficult of a project either. And then once we have it up and running, like, we'll be able to supplement water for the birds and the garden. And if we ever lose electricity in the winter, that well's deep enough, and I'll have the tube going deep enough that we'll still be able to draw water from it during winter as well. So yeah.
I think it's time.
I think it is too.
Well, I think this one is getting antsy.
Yep.